Hey, what is going on? So, it's some free software that I'm recording with. You can download in seconds, record your screen. Very good stuff. Um, I was going to talk about waves today, but I was just reading Tunnel Through the Air, and on page 22, as H.W. Steele had pointed out, there's the word love is on here 7 times. So 22 divided by 7 gives you pi. So he's pointing to the circle. Another thing, though, that just a different kind of interpretation of kind of the rest of the text here, or at least half of it, I kind of stopped here, is I never thought that you liked me, Bobby. It, to me, indicates that she is initiating first contact, if you will, or first engagement kind of thing, first hello, and yada yada. She thought that he was always with Kitty Anderson, so to me that indicates maybe like an orbital change of sorts between two bodies. Maybe with her coming around, had pulled a planet away from the original source that it was orbiting. To me, that's certainly could be what he's talking about here. And when Robert felt, and to me this is kind of the response, a very logical physics response to an attractive force, right? When Robert felt, or when Robert read the last line, he felt his heart jump right out of his throat. His hopes and ambitions soared higher than they had ever before. So to me, that would indicate, yeah, there's attraction there, polarity, literally attraction, not like sexual attraction in the story, but it's so brilliant that it does both. So that's really interesting. And again, the schoolboy, schoolgirl indicates perhaps younger planetary bodies, younger in the solar system, perhaps. That's kind of the mindset that I've taken with tunnels, and with doing that, and then jumping into astrolog, and it's just today for right now. But jumping into astrolog, seeing the effects of what's taking place on some of the days, just in the first 20 pages or so, of dates and things like that. It's really pretty awesome. Some of the especially the astrology that you see shaping up, it's very unique. As you can see right now, right, there's not much really going on. And so I'm scrolling backwards. There hasn't really been a whole lot going on. I mean, we had this. Oops. We had this. Where'd it go? We had this sextile and square alignment on the 3rd there, just yesterday. Could be signaling, a bit of a cycle coming in, but there's not really any like real. I'm just scrolling back now, back more. There's a bit of geometry going on, alright, but right here there's some stuff going on, but when on these dates that Gantt in tunnels, it's literally like dynamic geometry, really, nothing but conjunctions. Every planet in the system is doing something. It's really, really fascinating stuff. So definitely good, just maybe a fresh perspective for some Gantt traders out there. So what I was going to talk about was waves, and a good example of waves is here on the USD CAD. One thing you need to understand, though, is waves inside of waves inside of waves. So the problem that wave traders have is, where's your start point? Is this your start point down here? Because going up to a monthly, just where you can see more data, you could easily say that, and I think FXMC, I've seen some other data, which this market was down previous, so you could easily say, like, is this a major wave 1 up here? and this is a pullback into 2 for your major fractal, right? Your major wave cycles. Is this a big wave 1 up, down from there, or is this was this like our start point right around mid or something like that? Whenever it was, I haven't seen super old data for Forex at all, but you know, did it start? Did the USD CAD start right around $1 or something? Like, where did it start? And then you know, is this going to be? Are we starting? Even if you have your start point, waves are sketchy because is it going to be kicking off? What kind of waves is it going to kick off? Right? There's all sorts of different kinds of waves that can take place. So you have a problem right from the start, right from your foundation. It's a flawed system. There's no way that you're going to be 100% accurate with it by itself, right? And that's exactly why I got into Gann, is because I've actually taken Elliott Wave system and I've made it much better, much simpler, just by adding. You would think it would be more complex, but I've added an 8th wave. So instead of 3 waves, 5 waves, and then a whole bunch of little complex corrective waves, I have 3, 5, and 8 waves. That's about it. So, anyways, so it's hard to say, where's your point, right? So I could be saying that this certainly is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done, and I can lay Fibonacci placements all over this thing and find confluence points, right? You can be slick with your Fibonacci placements. There's like a 113 probably. I don't have the 113 on. That's probably like a 618. Something like that, right? Like, you can, however you want to make rules for it is fine, but I can show you a few specific waves while I'm in here for this video here. But so it's hard to say where's your start point, right? So is this wave 1, 2, and then 3? Or there is also a wave sequence which goes like that, which that would be 3 way up here. And then inside here, you have an A. That's supposed to be an A. A B, and a C. Right? So, it's what kind of wave is coming in, right? So again, waves by themselves are extremely flawed. You can make hundreds of arguments against them, but I want to focus on obviously the positives here. So with waves, I like to just kind of look at general structures, right? We've been coming up here, and now we're going sideways here. So if anything, you're playing this channel on the way up, and if anything, you're playing this kind of channel here. So if anything, it would be a sell into here kind of thing, right? General outlook, but what you need to know about waves though is you're dropping fractals. So say we were saying this was a 5-wave move like that. Say that this would be wave 4 right here even, right? Not even the bigger sequence option that I just showed, but let's say that this is wave 4. What we need to see in here is when I drop down to the monthly, I should see clear waves in here, right? Like I have A, B, C in there. Personally, I don't like looking at things like that. I like looking at more of the immediate pattern. And I'll just drop, you can see it here. This would be 5 waves. 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 Right? That's the way I like to just kind of keep things tight. As far as like what the market's doing right now. So here I'm on the daily, you can see those 5 waves better. There's 5 waves here, 5 waves here, debatable where your second wave is, right? Because then you have wave 1 come up, and then you have an A, B, C. You have an internal corrective pattern, which kind of makes a bit of a harmonic in there, right? It makes that harmonic formation, and it's these types of market structures, which is what has led people to go ahead and create harmonics in general. And then, right, here's another harmonic coming off the tail end of that. If you watch my other videos, that looks like a pretty nice looking butterfly. But we're not talking about harmonics. box here. So right there is our wave 1, and this will be our wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, we have 5 waves down here. We have 5 waves down in here. What you can do though is get right in here, and you want to grab the 3-point Fibonacci extension tool. I use, there's different ways to measure this. You can measure it. This is the proper way, standard proper Elliott wave way to do it, with this little kind of hook, taking what's considered your highest high, and then your, so your 0.012. But it's really, this is your outside return. So we make a low, we kind of make a lower low, right? The market's been going up here. We kind of broke low here, right? This first, a really nice little tidbit is, there's levels to trend, right? There's that kind of level. There's a bit more immediate one, and we've definitely broken that here. So we kind of made a lower low, right? And then eventually, right, we're breaking lows here, right? So levels to trend. So we've got our 3-point fib on there after our 5 waves, right? Like you want to, it should flow. Everything should be flowing. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then here's your little corrective harmonic guy. And then right after that, you're getting a 5-wave sequence, and this particular wave you will see this particular type of wave, which you see it on the monthly. Actually, if I scroll up, you see basically the exact same thing right here on the monthly. Just a different fractal, right? Excuse me. It's a different fractal. All things are energy, and energy is only going to take so many formations. The 64 grid tetrahedron is all possible dimensions that light is going to be taking in physical form. But anyways, you can see this wave went bang on the 3.618. Alright, 1, 2, and you can count that as like an A, B, C, D pattern, or in here just from 1 you'd be A, B, C. Right, but there's your 3. And however you really see these waves, right? Like however you see them best shaping up. So I'll just take this here. I could, you would, on the 4 hour or something, this is the daily, but on the 4 hour or something, you're going to be able to see that ABC a whole lot more clearly. I think there's actually a little, once you get down to like the 1 hour or something, there's actually a little bat pattern in there or something. But we've got that. So there's wave 1, and then we get a little kind of corrective pattern in there, and then we're kicking that off. So you can even go ahead and consider that your wave 2 completion, right at that end C point. However you want to label that, I think this would actually be more proper, having 2 and C there, and that creates a nice little harmonic in there. See, and that brings that 3.618 slightly lower, pinging us right on the money, and we've been up since, pushing into possibly fucking higher highs, it looks like here, right? Just leaving this previous structure on. We've hit that 618, a bit of a confluence point, right? We've kind of used this as a level here. And we could be using it again to break higher. What else? We've got, and typically what follows after a 5-wave sequence through Elliott wave rules, right? So we have this 5-wave sequence here. I'll just make that smaller. And what typically follows after is an ABC corrective pattern, and a nice solid ABC corrective pattern You could look at a 127 in here, but it is that 127 ratio that you're looking for. And we've hit that right there. If you're taking the measurement like this, most people do not, and they're going to take it like that. In which case, we've hit the 1618. That's fine. See, it's even printed basically right on 1618. If you're going through Elliott waves kind of principle, though, a 5-wave impulsive move should be followed by an ABC corrective pattern, and that's to the 127, as Jody Samuels teaches. You can look into Jody Samuels; she's quite good, and that would be your standard Elliott wave right there. And yeah, pretty straightforward. You can label this in here too, right? And this is the fractal nature, just like how on the monthly we have the same pattern. Inside this pattern, you have another smaller 5-wave move, right? A little kind of zip in there. So waves inside of waves inside of waves, right? Boom. And if you zoom into the right time frame, you got 5 waves up right there as well. You got 5-wave kind of thing going on here too. I like to look at all of them to be a complete 5-wave move, basically. Even though proper Elliott wave does say that, this would be your ABC. To me, I'm looking for that 5-wave sequence, and we have that right there with a nice 1-to-1 kind of move in the middle. And to me, this is how I would label this play here, is with this 1-to-1 move here. I don't even think it's a 1-to-1 move, it's just a nice kind of harmonic move, but I would label this as such. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And, just like this was a 5, this was a 5, this was a 5. We're expecting this to be a 5 here as well. And again, this is where the debate comes in with waves. Is that the 5, or is it this here, right? I'll just, instead of I'm not going to take your time mapping it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then is this a corrective pattern here? And then are we about to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 higher, right? So is this a 1, 2? You can see how there's always an argument for waves on either side, right? Is 3 going to be way up there somewhere? Which, on a monthly perspective, who knows? That could very well make sense, right? 1, 2. Is that going to be 3 right here? 3, 4, and then higher 5, up into 60s or something? But, so that's, the whole point of this is waves are really not that consistent. Or, you're going to be able to debate it. Someone's always going to be able to say, oh, that's not the wave count, even like an established wave trader. And you put 10 wave traders in a room, and they're all going to come up with something different, right? So, they should, though, all of these wave traders should ultimately be able to see swings, though, right? You can see a swing here, the minor swings, and you should be able to just basically zoom out, and you can see the more major swings, right? So you can see the minor swings and the major swings. That's huge with wave trading, right? And you want to try to be clocking each of them, whether you want to label it fucking 1, 2, or left titty and right titty. It doesn't really fucking matter, as long as you have rules for it, and good to go, right? Alrighty, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Peace.